So the generations, baby boomers, this is the guides are saying, we're a completely different type of generation because there was so many siblings, and there was so like sibling rivalry, and then there was like fighting for mom and dad's attention, but dad was gone, maybe like in the military or like whatever. And then baby boomers also lives were threatened in that they were going to get drafted off to Vietnam. They watched all their friends die for no reason, according to, you know, them. I wasn't there, so I don't know all the specifics of it. I just know that it was supposedly a pointless war. That's what my dad has always said. But knowing that you may not have another day, does that remind you of something? COVID. But what it did was it kind of puts the baby boomers back in that whole mindset, because we didn't want to be around our parents, the baby boomers, because we didn't want to get them sick so they wouldn't die, you know. And there's very few of like the great generation left that were their parents. There's very, very few. But those people were probably all in nursing homes and probably died of COVID, you know. And it's like the world got put into a state of fear again. And yeah, the Super Bowl was the first like collective, because if you think about it, it's like the Trump rally, it's only gonna be Trump supporters watching that. Like, you know, other stuff, like some people watch hockey, some people watch whatever, but yeah, everyone watches the Super Bowl, even if it's just for the commercials, which is what I watch it for. But the and I predicted the score and I got it right, so that was fun. But here's the guides. This is it's a, can you guys tell me what you see this as? Is it one of those asterisks, or is it a disco ball? Or, oh, perfect, opening your new heart and new guides. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we can't open our new heart if we don't know what's in our old heart, right? So I'm drawn to wanting, oh, I really want to draw a picture to explain to you guys how the new guides are going to work. I want you to imagine like 7 people standing behind you, but there's 7 pillars of light coming up. Okay. And those 7 pillars of light, 1, 2, 3. Does everyone have 7? Or do you guys have less or more, or curious? I feel like I have 7 back there and then 7 up here, but I think it's a mirror. Well, then I am Marissa's physical body. When I'm in my physical body, it's just straight like down over me. But when I'm outside of myself, I can see 7 behind me and 7 in front of me. And they're not me. They're all different, like 8. Okay, cool. 6, 9. Awesome. 6. I was trying to figure out whether there's 3 here, 3 here, and then I was one of them. And I think that's the case. And then when I look in the mirror, I feel like I kind of like, that's why I said a disco ball. I kind of feel like it's like little reflections of me, like all the way around. Cool. Yes, Angel, I see 6, including you, be 7. So we are our master guide now. We are the guide that created us. We are a soul, and we have the power to create our reality into that which we want it to be. We can live in misery, we can live in fear, we can live in pain. And nobody wants that, but like, that's all we know sometimes. And that's how we receive love sometimes. That's why, you know, maybe our husband won't yell at us because we're sick, but before they were abusive. But now since we're sick, they're nice to us. Or for any reason, you know, some of us are sick so that our husbands or wives can take care of us, so they feel needed. We will literally minimize ourselves down so that the people around us will feel needed, because we love them and we want them to feel needed. And if they feel needed, then they don't get insecure, and then they don't get passive aggressive, and then they don't make us feel like garbage by saying things to cut us down so that we need them. So it's like just this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth of all these games that we play. And those are those little selves that were inside of us that fell into all those different spots in our body that made us feel sick. I mean, it wasn't the music that was making you feel sick. It was the self inside of you that was hearing and resonating with the music that was making your whole being sick. And there's so many beings that this is like this asterisk or a star or a disco ball. I can't tell, it's changing. It's like an asterisk kind of spinning, and then I see a disco ball, and then I see kind of like an orb, and then I see like a almost like that swastika symbol thing, but the other way. And one of those U things with dot. It's doing all these different symbols and it's spinning in the middle of me, and that's what I'm channeling. It says, I am the divine source. I am the divine source, and I am the transmission receiver for that which is each of your higher selves. For when you get to a certain level of consciousness, you each are individualized pieces of God that are here to experience life through all of your creations. And when we say this, we say that your creations are your thoughts. Just think, you think a thought, you think about, I think I need to go to the grocery store. That's something that I need to do. A piece of you will go to the grocery store. So now there's a piece of you at the grocery store. And that piece of you, this is just metaphorically speaking, this is your creator self thinking, oh, I'm going to go to the grocery store. So now there's one at the grocery store. And you think, oh, I need to go get my tires changed. Now there's one changing the tires. But they think that you're you. They think that they're the only one. And then they start making creations. And then the little sparks that we are, the light that we are, goes into each of those little creations. So you can imagine kids that daydreamed, created these false realities, these imaginary friends, which were just aspects of themselves, just created other worlds for themselves. Some of us still live in those other worlds, and we believe what we believed then. And then we still treat our parents like they're gods, like they actually have control over us. And we're like almost 50. I'm speaking about myself again, but it's like we bow down, a lot of people, to our parents, or we're like, when we shouldn't be, because they wiped our butts and they took care of us and they did the best they could. So what the guides are saying is, like, the generations are all very different. The baby boomers, their lives were threatened. We were scared because of them. Their lives were threatened back then. There's this, like, every 12 years, they're saying, comes through like this massive wave of fear, and then this massive wave of togetherness. And it keeps us all in the old way of thinking, where we need others to complete us, where we need to feel one with our family. There's a point where we're supposed to separate from our family and become individualized, right? At 14, when we move into the solar plexus, we're supposed to become ourselves. We're supposed to not see our parents as God. We're supposed to see them as another person. Would I hang out with them if I didn't know them? Would I even think that they were a normal person? Would I think they were weird? Like, I look at my dad and I'm like, hang out with him, but not him right now. Right now is a little bit obnoxious. I still love him, but like, if I didn't know him, I'd be like, okay, no, switch him off. Because he just gets all crazy about the politics, and that just drives me nuts. You think about your parents, your family members, your siblings and stuff like that, and they have a huge, huge impact on our heart opening and our heart closing, and us moving into our new heart, because our new heart we're moving into on our own, by ourselves, without our families. But in that new heart, we all have the same heart. So we are all one. Does that make sense? So when we move into that state of consciousness in this new heart field, they're calling it like the 7th dimensional heart field. So it would be like the heart of your soul, right? Yeah, the heart of like your soul. And that means that is basically the mind of God, because it goes like mind goes into the heart of the next, and then the mind goes into the heart of the next. So like your higher self's mind is your heart. So the soul's mind is the higher self's heart. So it's kind of like, gets put down in there and it knows everything. So by being in your heart and knowing your heart and opening up to this new heart, which, are we doing attunements tonight to that? Or are we going to do that tomorrow, Sue? I think you said that we were going to do something about that, something like that tomorrow. Yeah, I do, Danielle. Big toe. Is it your left one or your right one? And are you in the mirror or not? Yeah, my left, it's killing me. Left me feels like it's like hell. Right, I feel like is like how we come in with our toe on earth and we're spinning. Like Buddy is still on his toe, kind of spinning. But if we flip into fear, we go into the mirror, into the reflection of ourselves, like Madison fell like 4 or 5 days ago, I guess, because of that, fell out of herself. And now she's her own little human being. So now she's got her left toe spinning. It's just because it's a reflection. It's not really her left toe. But if we resonate more with that fear self, with that reflective self, then we will start to believe that we are that self. And that's what happened during COVID and during, I can say it, COVID, because it's not on Facebook or YouTube. They'd be like, and it'd be like quiet now. And it'd be like, please go and check out the World Health Organization, blah, 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 across the screen. They always mute me. But it's just everything right now is unknowing. And I think that people are starting to feel more comfortable and like, cause like all the mask mandates are gone here. The kids, I saw the teachers' faces for the first time this week. I was like, oh my God, you have a mouth. So people are starting to forget, but that the issue is we're starting to forget, right? So that event was almost like to make us forget what trauma we just endured. I mean, like, think about it. Like I lost my business. Like I worked my ass off for that healing center. I worked my ass off for, to build myself a Hay House author, and the radio show. Like it was like gone, and now it's like, I love you guys, but I mean, having 500 people in meditation was like, wow, having 42 is like, yes, we still have 42 people, and I'm so grateful for you guys for like being like the OGs hanging in there, even the new people for coming. And it's just like, like, I felt like I was making a difference. And then it's like, okay, well, am I making a difference? Like, do I still have a purpose? I don't know if I have a purpose. It's like it's just like a whoa, but we're starting to forget that happened. And like Jeff and I were talking the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I have not even thought about the fact that I went through $197,000 in savings, trying to keep my center open and trying to keep, like rents paid and this and this and this. Like I had $200,000 in savings sitting there, like, cause he has his 401k and I have nothing. I have like $120. And it's like, like, how do you come back from that? That's trauma. Right. And I was just trying to keep things afloat because they decided to shut us down. So it's like, and then having to learn how to be an online person and all this technology and all this, it's like trying to switch careers and trying to make it work. A lot of people went through a lot, and that shuts your heart down because that's trauma. And it's like, I don't want to experience that again. So you know what? I'm not going to go out and publish a book, and I'm not going to go out and try and launch it. When I tried to launch my book, my brother-in-law died 5 days before. So I had to cancel Oprah, cancel, like all the things that I was going to be on, the Ellen show, all that stuff. It was like, just cancel it. We have a funeral, can't do it. Sorry. So it's like, in my mind, it's like anytime anything good happens, something bad's going to happen to wipe out that good thing. So why don't you guys write down, before we do this meditation, a couple of beliefs that you have about that came from COVID that may have been from before, like, anytime anything good happens, something bad's going to happen. To stop me. Or anytime anything good's going to happen, like my mom will get in the way, or anytime anything's going to happen. Like, just kind of write down a couple of beliefs. Every time you write this stuff down, by the way, you guys, my intention is that it's being healed. So I have a piece of myself that's going out and healing these things. So as you're writing them down, they're actually being healed. So actually write them down, whether you're typing them in your phone or on your computer, actually write them down, because the intention is in the quantum realms to go through and heal them, remove them from your subconscious mind, create new neural pathways within your brain. So when your brain goes into person or place or thing that matches this, it's not going to go for that. It's not going to be there anymore. And that's what subconscious reprogramming is. And that's what our Reiki class this weekend is going to be teaching you guys how to do, is to just completely remove these like irrational, stupid things that, we picked up from our parents when we were younger. They were obviously a totally different generation, baby boomers, like you got it from your parents, but every generation is more and more emotional, if you guys haven't noticed. And the more and more emotional we get, the less and less logical we get. No offense, Gen Z. But it's like, I look at my kids, they're generation A, the alphas, and they're after Z, and they're like so emotional. Hey, hi, are you a generation A? Hi, it's Kitty. She's coming in for the meditation. I'm in trauma. Well, yeah, we're all in trauma. I mean, we're traumatized the moment we're born. I mean, we come out of this nice, safe place and we're in this world that we're like, where am I? That's trauma. We're born in trauma. Every time someone says no to us, or we get scared before the age of 6 and we go into fight or flight, we think we're going to die. Like, that's why Montessori schools say, like, don't put kids into competition. Don't pair them up against each other. Don't say, oh, if you don't eat that, I'm gonna give it to your brother or whatever, because that creates competition between siblings and they go into fight or flight. And that is life or death. They are going to die, literally. That's like all they can comprehend. So trauma, 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 trauma. So nobody is special in that they have more trauma than the other. Two people could have experienced the same exact thing. One could have received more trauma than the other. The point is that what I'm talking about with COVID the past couple of years is we experienced something we hadn't experienced before. And that was a massive worldwide shutting down of our hearts, because we went into, back away from me, don't kill me and don't kill my parents, and you're going to kill me. I mean, I was even like that for a while. I wouldn't let my parents come visit. And they were like, oh, well, we're not worried about it. I'm like, no, you can't come see us. Finally, Jeff's parents just showed up and I was like, oh my God, Jeff, your parents are going to die. And like, I was so scared. So it's like, everyone turned into complete 100% narcissists. And it was either a family against the world, or it was us against the world. And everybody else was the enemy, because they could have been carrying the microscopic germ of COVID that could kill your entire family. So everybody here, the mask mandate's over like last week. You think that you would not see a mask anywhere. People are still wearing masks. I'm like, so do I stay away from them, even though I know masks don't work because they have COVID? Is that why they have a mask on? Or are they just paranoid? So I still hear my thoughts going like, okay, I'll just kind of stand away from them just in case they are sick. Even though I have all the antibodies, but you never know. So if you're one of the people that stays like uber focused on all the deaths, are you, if you are and you're willing to admit it, just hit like a yes. If you focus on the deaths, on the symptoms of the new strains, of the new developments in COVID and stuff like that, if anybody is like that, I would love to hear why. And if you have gone back before COVID and looked at all the different strains of all the other sicknesses and illnesses and flus and colds and stuff like that that came through before them, because I'm noticing my friends that really focus on that really like need to stay stuck, and they want to stay stuck in COVID. They want to stay stuck in that time for some reason. And a lot of people became very financially irresponsible because they're getting $6,000 a month for not working. They're making all this money. They were getting all these loans, getting all these like forgivable loans. It's like a lot of people took a lot of advantage of like, like government money and stuff like that. So right now in the world, it feels like people are getting a taste of reality and they're like, okay, it's time to get back to freaking work right now. And hey, guess what? You owe $500,000. Just saying, you know, to keep your business open, even though it's dead and it's gone. You know, and it's like people thought when we were in that time, we were different people because we were surviving for each day. We were like, I could die tomorrow. I'll take that 500 grand. Sweet. Give it to me. You know, I may be dead tomorrow. So it doesn't matter. But now we're like, we're alive, you know, and, oh gosh, Lisa, blah, 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 blah. I know COVID has permanently screwed up my lungs. I can't breathe. They feel like they're this big, like literally like this big. Like when I breathe in, I'll start coughing. They're like, they shriveled down to like nothing. And my heart still beats like 1,000,000 miles per hour when I walk up the stairs, ever since I had the COVID D or whatever. So it's like, and I wasn't afraid of it either. So it's not like I brought it on through fear. I just got it. I'm a healer. I can heal it, I guess. You know, there's a reason. But anyways, yeah, just write down silly beliefs that you're stuck in, or maybe things that are affecting you right now. And then the final thing I want you guys to write down, and I'm going to write it down too, is what is the one thing that is keeping me from entering into my new heart? What is the one thing that's keeping me from entering into my new heart, where I can experience my new guides? What's the one thing? And don't be like my husband, because that's what my mind thought immediately, because I love to blame him for everything. It's like my favorite thing to do. My little selves like to blame him. Let's see, mine is, I just heard belief. I still don't believe in all this stuff. I channel, I don't remember anything I say. I watch the tapes. I'm like, I say, if, but, or when I talk constantly, and like, oh my God, no way. And then I see myself talking when I'm teaching, and it's like, that's not me. That's something else coming through me. And I still have a hard time believing it. Yeah, what is the one thing keeping me from entering my new heart space and receiving guidance from my new guides? Yeah, mine's trust and belief. Trust that it's real. I don't want to believe in something that's not real. Interesting. Yeah, thank you, Anne. Doubt, yeah. Hey, the old guides didn't lie, Scott. I think that those probably weren't your guides then. Remember, Scott, there's a lot of different realities, and there's a lot of different timelines that were shifting and changing with every prediction about like the future. We changed our reality. With every whatever, you know, it's like things are constantly changing ever since December 19th of 2019, because we became creator beings. So what we believed became. And then there was other people who believed different. And because we were all in fear, we all had one brain. So all of our beliefs created Earth. So if everyone was to, if we would have accomplished our mission and done the Christ consciousness mass media explosion and gotten everyone into forgiveness and compassion and hope and strength, and not had everyone turn against each other and start fighting like cats and dogs, and just been like, all, oh, I have compassion for them. We are all experiencing the same thing. And like Black Lives Matters and Antifa and all these resistance groups wouldn't have, you know, come in like the dark side, then whatever it was that the guide said probably would have been true. But it's like, that's why we can't depend on asking questions about the future when it has an emotional impact on us, because we will either try to create it or we'll try to not create it. And then there's just so much that can get in the way, because we're all sharing a collective experience until you get into the solar plexus. Then you're experiencing your own reality. But most people exist in their second chakra. And that's where all the goopy emotions are. That's where the snow globe is. That's where, like, you know, Christ went down to the second chakra to try and get us up to the top of the second chakra where the Holy Spirit is, so that we could hang on to that and let the spirit of truth inside of our solar plexus, because the world was living in a state of root chakra and fear. Savages killing each other, crucifying each other, beheading people, just nasty, gross stuff. So, you know, Christ came down, if you believe that, or other godheads, other god leaders came down, ascended beings came down to teach us how to be nice to each other. So now this next coming of Christ, or coming whatever, which is now starting like 3 years ago, this whole Revelations thing from the Bible, like playing out 3 years ago, came in like the new Christ consciousness. And we as a collective, all of us in this group, are part of that Christ consciousness. So it's up to us and, you know, 168,000 other people on this planet, to kind of bring the light, bring understanding, bring forgiveness and compassion to the world, and help people realize that what irritates them and what they can't stand are the things that are within them that they need to work on. And if we hate Trump or Biden because they're sleazy, slimy scumbags, then we're a sleazy, slimy scumbag inside somewhere. Otherwise, we wouldn't see it. So by allowing ourselves to, you know, look at all this, what's the name, Fauci and Pelosi, and I can't even believe I even know all the names, but, you know, looking at them and saying, oh, they're power hungry, they're money hungry, they're greedy, they want to take over the world, they want to do this, they want to kill everybody. It's like, that's something that's within us that's deeply like seated within us, something that we would do. Otherwise we wouldn't see it. So that's the stuff that we're going to absorb tonight. Those are those little selves. They're like, well, if I had that power, I would do this, you know, and we don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it because it makes us sound like we're horrible people. Like no one wants to be like, oh, you know, if I was Hitler, I would have done this, you know, nobody wants to say that, but there's our shadows. Like Kiki was saying, she's seeing shadows. There's our shadow selves. And we just need to love those shadow selves, pull them into ourselves and transmute them. So that's what we're going to do right now. So let me turn some music on. Hey, Kitty, are you going to meditate with me? She never comes downstairs. Does this sound better?
Yeah, it sounds a lot better.
Okay, great. I figured out the recipe. I just still can't believe that I had drug thoughts. If anyone else is willing to admit their thoughts they've had this week, that'd be awesome. I won't feel as much of a loser. I was going to call off class because I felt like I wasn't like suited to help you guys or do anything anyway because I was just such a loser. And then Glenn and Donna and Janice did healings on me and I kind of feel like me again. Interesting, Monty. Are you an alcoholic, like a sober alcoholic or? Okay, so you just wanted to, yeah, well, that was me the other night. I was like, should I go to the office and do meditation and do these achievements, or should I stop at that bar and get a shot? I was like, what am I talking about? So ridiculous. Well, I guess it's not ridiculous because it happened, but you know. Get copyrighted for it. Trying to find one specific song. Here we go. Not a meditation song. This is your soul singing to you. Opening up everyone's hearts, maneuvering that turtle shell. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, I release. Sending those shields you have at the back of your heart. The void. All the life force energy can impact you and connect into your heart as you breathe in. Commanded and requested each individual feel the love of their life within them right now. Not a person, feel the feeling of having the love of their life fully embodied within them right now. Love of your life. And everything you feel in that. Knowing that they'll never leave you. Knowing that they'll never let you go, no matter what, they're there. That's your soul energy. Will never leave you. Your soul is the love of your life. You are the love of its life. It is a being. And it is here for you, always and forever. And the one thing that COVID did these last 2 years was separate you from your soul. And we're going to bring that back tonight. What I want you to do is to begin to ask, in relation to where you are right now, where your soul is. Say, show me where my soul is in relation to where I am. So you can say, show me what I feel like here. Where is my soul? Is it in me? Is it around me? Is it gone? Is it holding you? Are you holding it? Where are you in relation to your soul? I mean, when I say soul, I don't mean the story of your life. I mean the perfect essence. It's like this water, this embryo, almost like it's or fetus, like in the mother's womb, and keeps you safe from harm. It can never be polluted. It's always perfect. But we create in our mind these alternate realities where the souls can be tainted and they can get stuck and they can go to hell and they can just keep going over and over and over in these cycles that are not necessary. So right now, as your healer, as your Reiki master teacher, or whatever you want to call me, as long as you accept this healing, and we're going to ask that I be taken up into the highest possible extent of our whole selves as my full self with the power of Holy Spirit or Spirit. I ask that I join forces with each person's highest self to bring about a collective healing, a collective magnetism to pull in anyone's soul that is lost. On the count of 3, we're going to ask that the magnet that is our collective consciousness, our highest selves, pull those souls back. This is like a massive soul fragmentation, a soul retrieval. Oh my God, I feel sick. Anyone else feel sick? Is the music still going? I love you, Tina. Okay, good. No music. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I feel dizzy and sick right now. So we're going to ask that each individual that feels dizzy, sick, or anything that's uncomfortable, that we be told why we are, and then be removed from that feeling. It's because I wasn't my higher self. I was a creation of my higher self, and I thought that that was my higher self. Interesting. So if you feel sick or dizzy, just say, take me into that which created what I am right now. And if you still feel sick, take me into that which created that which I am right now. And you'll just keep going. Take me into that which created me. Take me into that which created me until you get to not feeling sick, and you'll realize how far off your path you are. Because at this point in the planet's ascension, we should just be feeling nothing but compassion and love. But it's quite the opposite. Because we're in these creations of ourselves that have shells on their back, that are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that have protected themselves from being hurt. Oh, I feel sick again. I'm just going to open use source code. I never used this one, but I'm going to do it. It's a formula. They call it the bowling ball of destruction. Hold on. It's going to come. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're going to feel something swoop through and just grab like bats and weird little things out of you. It's just going to keep looping around, taking stuff out of you, giving it to source, turning it into light and bringing it back. I'm going to let that sit for like a minute. Make sure each person's receiving it. Oh, that feels good. Janice, you and your void yo-yo. You're like, taking it out. This is removing the beliefs that are making you feel sick, because by pulling in all of your soul matter, it's giving you power. And a lot of you don't trust your own thoughts because you don't even know what they are. Hey, kitty. Yeah, I'm totally nauseated. I feel like I want to throw up right now. But that means it's working. The cool thing is being able to do this in this environment with each other, because this is what's keeping us from our dreams. This is what's keeping us from everything we've ever wanted and everything we've ever needed. And it's what's keeping us from us. So at least in a controlled environment and being able to heal this, we can change our lives now, tonight, right now, and never be the same in a good way. There we go, pulling all that in. Her tail's all poofed up. See your tail, it's all poofy. She's having like an adrenaline rush. I think that a part of my soul was inside Stevie, and it's coming back to me. Janice, call back your soul that's in your kitty. This won't be able to be a meditation that's sold on anywhere, because it's going to have songs in it that are copyrighted, but oh well. The pieces of us that have died are going to cross over now, because a lot of us, aspects, pieces of us are dead. And I don't know if anyone has been like me and actually seen themselves dead, or I keep hearing, now I can't even hear the song because that fragment's gone, but it was like, today's the last day of your life. It was like a Beatles song, or, oh my gosh, what song was it? All I heard was that in my head all day. Something American Sweetheart, this is the last day of your life, or something like that. I don't even remember. This is awesome. The demon is gone. Come on, play.
stars in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip.
There's that saying, all the good die young.
Can you imagine when this race is won?
There's pieces of us that have died. We'll let them go. Every day we die, and we're born again the next day. We need to let the past go, but accept and know that that youth inside of us, that is our spirit, that is Christ, that is God, will keep us forever young within our hearts. The need for bitterness, anger, hatred, with others for making our experience what it is not needed. We want to get angry because it's easier than being sad. So calling forth all the pieces of us that have died, that are still here, that haven't crossed over, that are sad. Call all of those pieces of you forward right now, all of those pieces that are dead inside. And we're going to send life to them right now from our new heart. Our new heart is going to come in the form of a big pink heart, like the shape of a heart, not like the actual heart. Behind us, and that heart has mist coming off of it, and that mist is going to infuse those pieces of us that some will resurrect, reawaken, and combine with us. Other aspects will just dissolve and cease to exist. Others will find the stairway behind them and walk up to heaven. And as these pieces of us leave, tiredness we have inside begins to go away. Piece of us that wants to give up. Piece of us with no motivation, no ambition, no passion, no strength, no hope, no desire will cease to exist. On the count of 3, I'm going to start pushing everybody's whole self up to density levels. You'll start to feel yourself. Say, my physical body now represents my whole self. And you'll just feel yourself beginning to rise. Emerge from the water, deep and submerged in. As your head rises up out of the water, you can breathe for the first time. On your own, just like a child being born. Breathing into your own lungs. You don't need that umbilical cord. Bringing nutrients, you can get them on your own. From the sun, from the atmosphere, from the earth. You've entered into reality. I want you to imagine floating on the top of water. Just with your face, the sun hitting your face, the sun hitting your body, anything on your body. Just say, show me if there's anything on my body. You may have little tubes and little, so they have like little, what are those things called? Muscles, like the, oh gosh, itchy. It's like those little shells that you see at the tide pools, little sea anemones. That's as the sun, the real sun, shines down upon you. It's like a white eraser board. It just erases. You become a blank slate. You're like a brand new baby, but with the mind, the experience, and all the things you've gone through that make you wiser, smarter, but the emotion's not attached. So you're not irrational. You're not protective. You're open with your belly up to the sky, with your arms out, just floating, allowing yourself to receive the brilliance of the solar energy shining down upon you. And then I want you to imagine kind of flipping over. And when you do, you can see down into the water perfectly. And you can breathe in the water. And just bring your attention and awareness to your back and just say, show me what my back feels like or looks like or what's on my back. Oh, gross. Sorry. That's so, ooh. Allow the sun to shine down upon that and just like a white eraser board. Oh my gosh. Okay, being clairvoyant right now is not very yummy. Can clairvoyant people agree? Oh, geez. Oh my gosh, I have like itchy, I have like abscesses all over my body. Oh my gosh. And I'm making sure everyone's cleared. So I'm going into each person. Oh, someone's wearing a chastity belt. That's funny. I'm going to do psychic surgery on a couple, actually everybody, and just remove things like chastity belts, ball and chains, leashes, things that are keeping you tied to the earth. There we go. We as the guides bring unto you your new heart, your new mind, your new soul, your new guides. As your new guides begin to come into your space, you'll begin to feel yourself completely clear, completely clean, a light body amongst yourself. Your family have their own light bodies, but in your hearts, you're all connected. You're going to begin to rise up out of the water, completely cleansed, completely clear. Ask to feel what it feels like to be clear like this. And as you do, instead of in a laying down position, you're going to rise up about 2 feet above the water, as if you're walking on water. The moment you feel fear, you'll fall back down into the water. When you feel belief and hope, compassion, strength, all of these things where you just know that you are this brilliant, beautiful light being, there's no need to dive back down into the water to figure out why this happened or why that happened or who did what and who did that. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Blame is something the ego needs to do. You are responsible for the way that you reacted and you responded to something that caused fear, and it created growth within you. If you cannot see that, you're still submerged in the water. So ask to go into that which created what you are and imagine floating on the water, receiving the transmissions from the sun, receiving the attuned energies from this channel that she is sending through the water up, pushing you up out of the water. Feel the freedom of being separate from the collective that is that sea of water that you've been in. Feel the freedom of being an individual, being able to do what you want, say what you want, and it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It really doesn't. When you're in this state of consciousness, the second you go back down into that water, that emotional body, you care what everybody thinks. You want to make sure nobody thinks that you did anything wrong, so you're going to blame everybody else. And anything that you're afraid of right now, you'll find blame, to blame somebody else because you don't want to take responsibility for the actions that you did that you knew you shouldn't have done, or you feel you were forced to do. Excuse me. So right now we're going to bring a big wave of forgiveness over ourselves. Forgive our quote unquote lying guides, AKA our mind that heard things that maybe were not true, wishful thinking, or maybe the opposite of wishful thinking, thinking that, oh, that's what I want, so it must be the opposite. Everyone has been distorted for 2.5 years. And tonight, for all of you, these distortions end. And it's up to you whether you choose to go back down into that self down there, that investigator, that one that needs to find out all the truth. The truth is that you are free. And that's all that matters. You're free. You don't have to operate within the collective. And as you notice, your nausea is gone. As you notice your body doesn't feel achy, this is when you know you're disconnected from the collective. And this is truly the way of living in this world, but not of it. You can live in this world, but not be it. You can live in this world and influence people. You can live in this world and teach people. You can live in this world, heal people. You can live in this world, have friends, family, but you don't need to be them. And that's what happens when we go into the collective. We all just mesh together as flesh. And that's not what we want. We want to live in spirit, not in the flesh. So infusing each person's body right now, I want you to feel it from your toes. Very cold, cold, cold energy I'm sending. It's like a cold fusion energy up through your big toes. And it's almost going to like freeze your body. It's like cryotherapy or something. Freeze your toes, freeze your feet, freeze your ankles. And as they're freezing, it's reversing the age of the cells within your body. Releasing all the stress they've ever endured that was not your own, that was a projection or a reflection based on the fact that you could not receive love. Based on the fact that you thought love was criticism, or you thought love was a roof over your head, or you thought love was food on your plate. You thought love was neglect. You were left alone, so that was love. You were given freedom, that was love. Freezing all the way up through your calves, your knees. It's like almost, you're literally going to start to feel frozen all the way up to your hips. The cat's freaking out. The bottom half of you is frozen. I want you to, in your mind's eye, or feel what it feels like for half of you to be frozen, and feel if you still feel like a complete being, or if you feel like half of you is cut off. I feel like I'm ice skating on the ice. I wonder what that means. The sun's going to come in. It's going to begin to thaw the bottom of you. And as that happens, from the top of your head, you're going to begin to freeze. From your scalp, every hair on your head, your face, your nose, your ears, your lips, all the way down through your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips, your fingernails, all the way up underneath your armpits, sides of your body, your ribs, your lungs, just frozen. Reversing age, reversing the negativity that came in due to stress, worry, fear. Any fat cells that are carrying memories that are not needed anymore are being burned away with this freezing cold energy. This cold fusion. It's like cryotherapy or something. I don't even know what that is. But inside this frozen top half of you, there is something that's burning bright. It's like fire. Feel where that is inside of you. That's your flame. Your eternal flame. That flame will never go out. Ever. It is literally eternal. It's where you're sprung from. The sparks come from it. I want you to ask that eternal flame that is you to do whatever it needs to do right now, to open your heart, to heal your old heart, to open up your new heart, to invite in your new guides. And you may see the flame kind of moving around. It may change colors. You may just feel it moving, but you're just going to say, hey, flame, eternal flame, do your thing, do what you need to do. And I'll just sit here and chill. I don't need to see anything. I don't need to feel anything. Just do what you need to do. And I'm going to do the healings right now and make sure that everybody is in the right space. Oops. Total copyright infringement. Is this the right one? I know Scott likes this one, so we'll play this one.
Is this burning an eternal flame? I believe it's meant to be. Darling, I watch you when you are sleeping.
Opening you up to lost loved ones,
With me, do you feel the same?
lost lovers due to ego.
Am I only dreaming? Or is this burning?
Your eternal flame is allowing you to forgive yourself for opportunities lost. Pulling that energy back, it'll allow you to create an even better opportunity. On the count of 3, I'm going to amp up the eternal flame energy times 10. So it's going to start melting everything in your upper body, lower body is melting. You're going to go back to normal. But all your cells will be brand new. Anyone with autoimmune, call in the other you right now. Merge with you. Autoimmune people have two selves.
I don't wanna lose this feeling.
No, it's very dirty.
Close your eyes, give me your hand. Do you feel my
Autoimmune people say, I am my other self right now,
Do you
and I am worthy of a body.
understand? Do you feel the
I deserve a body.
Am
I deserve a soul.
dreaming?
And I deserve
Is this burning
my eternal flame.
eternal
It is my right to merge with that other aspect of self that you just were.
Am I only dreaming? Is this burning an eternal flame? Close your eyes, give me your hand.
Cancer people are unable to even get into their eternal flame. Let's command and request is that all of their selves, contradicting selves, enter into their light body now and accept this eternal flame that they are now. And family members of people that are here that have cancer, we command that their family members as well. Somebody in mind specific that I love very much. Demi, Mary's dad, her husband and dad. So now that everybody is in their body, they've got their eternal flame burning bright. You're not frozen anymore. You've anti-aged. I want you to imagine what you look like in your mind. I want you to see what you look like in your mind on a soul level. This is your soul, basically. You are your soul. You have the full power to create, to do, to be anything. The voices you've been hearing in your heads. And we want this channel to listen to this. So please, somebody, the regulars that remind her to listen to this. The voices that you hear in your head are the voices that caused you destruction in the past. But you know better now. Congratulate yourself for that, rather than beating yourself up for hearing echoes of the past. Forgive yourself. Each of you, forgive yourselves for falling into old patterns, for being the old you, because that isn't an old you, that's you still. Every single day of your life, even though that you is dead, if you go into it, it's alive again. So this is the key. Wherever you are, that is life. That is alive because you are alive. It's what you choose to animate in your life as your being. It's your choice to decide what you animate. We'll say it again. It's your choice what you decide to animate as you. Just remember this. So when you're feeling covered in demons or covered in negativity, say, who am I choosing to be right now? What am I animating? Why am I animating? Take me back to that perfect self that was floating above the water, had that eternal flame within it. Allow me to feel the love. What we'd like for you to do finally before we end this is ask, if I was in this state, what would my example was my child's birth, my son's birth. What would my son's birth have been? And I just heard he would have died. Interesting. Oh, I would have waited until his delivery date, and because I wouldn't have been in fear, and he would have been toxic. Wow, that's very interesting. My other one, I can't remember what it was. I never would have gotten married. Oh, I would have died. I would have stayed with Jason, and him and I would have died very closely next to each other. So looking at this, fear has been your friend. Fear has helped you. And fear is not bad. It's when we neglect to admit that we're in fear and we turn it into things like accusation, investigation, worry, projection, blaming other people, things like that. It's like, get over the blaming and just realize I'm in fear. And there's a reason. And it's probably saving my life, because that's why we experience fear in this life. It's to keep us alive. So don't beat yourself up. Just be. And just know that God ultimately has your back. I want you to feel on the back of your shoulder blades, God's going to come in, placing God's hands on your back. So just kind of close your eyes and just feel, say, I now ask God's hands to move into and through every layer of my being, every layer of my field. I just burped. Every aspect of me that affects me. And please show me right now in any way that's reasonable and that I can feel what it feels like to be fully engaged and immersed in God's love. Please show me what that feels like. One person won't let God in. Okay. What do you want me to call it? You want me to call it Shiva? Okay. Okay, Shiva. Another person wants it to be a her. I didn't say it was a boy. Source creator. Okay, if that works for you. The Most High. Okay, that's good. You're asking that the God that is God before personalities were created, the life force, run through every cell, every particle, every aspect of you, your skin, your hair, your nails, your entire aura, your inner children, your aspects, everything, your soul, your higher self, your oversoul, your soul family, totally immersed in the love to show you what love really feels like. And you know what? I feel nothing, but it feels awesome. It's like a blank slate. I'd be curious to see what other people are feeling. And with this, I must say one thing. Yes, she finally let me in. It's Mary, guys. Do we want to hear from her right now? We're so peaceful. Yes. God. Oh. I've come to say, for the first time, that I love you. You are my children. You are me, and I am you. Many call us the Rose Clan. This is a minimization of a minimization of a minimization. This is not what we're called. We're a soul group. I am a collective consciousness of all of you. And I'm here to get you into shape to do what you're supposed to do. But first, you must know that you're loved. And this is the last time I'll say this for now. But understand and know that fear is no excuse anymore. You're all here for great things. You're all here to do amazing things. Whether it's be the best mother in the world, whether it's to be the best writer in the world, whether it's to be the best speaker in the world, whether it's to be the best sports player or the best, you are the best of the best of the best. The new ladies, you're right here in this group as well. And that's why you're drawn to this class. You must understand that you can be a healer. You can be a game changer. You can shine your light without having to be a healer. Just be you in your life. Stop with the martyrism, stop with the victimization, stop with all of these things that we use as defenses, and just know that you're the best. Everyone is in their own right, but we're the best. That was Peter that slipped in. That wasn't her that said in the end, that was Peter. He's like, we're the best. There are 4 soul groups left on this planet that are here to bring light to it. The other 8 have expired. They have gone to the dark side. Congratulations for being the strong ones. Congratulations for taking the harder route. It's easier to just go with the rest. But you're making a difference, even if you feel as if you're failing. Because most of the time, those who are the best always think they're the worst because they hold themselves to a higher expectation. But just know that each of you are doing what you need to do. And if you feel as if you must be doing more, do it. What's stopping you? Fear of looking stupid. And that's no excuse at all, because we all look stupid anyways. We're humans, look at us. But just know and understand that you are loved, you are appreciated, and all the guides and all the beings that watch over you are very, very proud. None of you have ever been told by those that you truly cared about that they were proud of you. None of you. There's a reason why you all fight so hard, because you want someone to say that they're proud. So I'm saying it now. Now get to work. We bless you. Whoa, it's cold in here. Open this window. Did I open that window? Gosh. It's freezing. How does everybody feel? Mary's still here. I feel new too. Oh, I love that Sean feels rad. There's nothing better than feeling rad. Yeah. I feel much, much better. I was ready to go off the deep end. I'm glad I didn't cancel class tonight. Thank you to Glenn, thank you to Donna, and thank you to Janice for just setting everything aside and doing a healing for me.